Hey lovelies, it's Jess and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a beautiful week and staying safe and happy and healthy. Comment down below, how has your week been so far? I hope that you're doing okay. In saying that, I've also had my up and down days. I feel like I'm doing much better recently, but initially it did take some getting used to, and I felt like I was on a bit of a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster. So if you can relate, let me know in the comments down below. But this week I wanted to share with you my top resources and recommendations to make self-quarantine a lot easier. So I've broken them down into categories of what to watch, listen to, read, and I'm also going to share some of my favorite apps. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to share your recommendations down below, please add them as well. I'd love to read them. Okay, so let's start with what to read, because I often get asked to share my book recommendations and also what I've been reading lately. So I did share one of these books. I did a little live stream on my Instagram account. Go follow me at Study with Jess, because I'm going to be doing more lives and IGTV, and I story every day and I share more resources. But I briefly touched on one of the recent books I have read, and I haven't talked about the other one. So I'm going to tell you what I've been reading and also what I recommend you read if you're looking for a good book during self-quarantine. So one of the books I've recently finished is Thrive by Arianna Huffington. This is a little limited edition cover which has a lot of stains from my tea, and I was going to say coffee stains, but I don't drink coffee, but you can see them there. Now this book in particular, I feel like a lot of what she writes really resonated with me, and there are so many annotations throughout this book because so much stood out to me as being incredibly valuable. But she covers, it's such a holistic book. That's what really impressed me. She talks about well-being, work-life balance, setting healthy boundaries, the glorification of being busy versus being productive. When talking about well-being, she even covers things from having a healthy sleep schedule and prioritizing sleep and rest, mindfulness, meditation, self-care, self-compassion, managing stress. It's just really, really fantastic. So if you're looking for a resource to help you achieve better work-life balance and just get your priorities in check, this is definitely a book I recommend. The other book, let me just preface by saying I read this book in one afternoon. I said to Adam, I'm going into the study, I really want to read this book. I'm not coming out until I'm done. I don't usually do that. I just felt like I needed to read this book. It's called Judgment Detox, and it's by Gabrielle Bernstein, and I just knew that there was so much wisdom in here that I just wanted to consume it as quickly as possible. So I made myself a couple of mugs of tea and I just read through it. I powered through it, and I'm not even a fast reader. However, the text is not that small, so it is quite an easy read as far as legibility goes, but the content itself is pretty deep. It's very much about self-development. It's about forgiveness, being non-judgmental to others, but also to ourselves. I would say this book is very much tied to self-love and compassion, faith, and it is just so fantastic. She even includes some different meditation exercises throughout, journaling exercises. It's really about looking at anything that you've been holding on to that no longer serves you, and how can you let that go with the help of her guidance. I highly recommend it if you feel like you've experienced conflict with others, conflict within yourself. This is just such a great book, and what better time to work on ourselves than when we have this wonderful opportunity that we have more downtime. We have this quiet time. It's just a perfect opportunity to sit down and reflect on the life we've been living and the life that we want to be living. Okay, some other book recommendations. Now I'm gonna shamelessly self-promote right now, and I'm gonna start with the High School Survival Guide, because I cannot imagine, so props to anyone out there watching this video that is currently studying from home. I can't imagine how challenging it must be to be self-motivated right now and have to organize your life and stay on top of all of your studies and not have that added support of your peers and your teacher in the classroom with you. So I'm going to recommend my study skills book, The High School Survival Guide, briefly, because I've talked about this on my channel many times. But just to give you a heads up, if you don't already have a copy, the sort of things that I cover in this book, from the ideal study environment, so how to set up a productive workspace, and organising your schedule to structuring your study sessions, staying focused, having a positive mindset, tackling major assignments, staying up to date with your work, preparing for exams, and of course managing and overcoming study stress and anxiety. There's also some little, well, every chapter ends with a brief summary on my top 5 tips, and there are some little activities throughout as well. I share a lot of my own personal experiences from my time as a student, so I wanted to flag this book for you all if you're looking for an additional resource and finding it particularly challenging to get it all done and study productively and figure out how you're supposed to study from home and work remotely. Then I really think this is going to help you out. And you can order, by the way, all the books I'm talking about. They're available from Amazon, Booktopia, Book Depository, so you can get them delivered to your door. You do not have to leave. And if you don't want to buy a hard copy of my book, you can get a Kindle download on Amazon too. So I thought I'd let you know. Next book. Now, one thing that I also know this video is going to go for a little longer because I talk about these books in detail, but I'm going to be a little bit speedier with the other resources, so bear with me. This book I wanted to talk about, I've mentioned it before, but if you haven't read it already, Brené Brown, New York Times bestselling author, wrote The Gifts of Imperfection. I read this book along with her others a couple of years ago, and it also was life-changing. So again, it's a self-developmental book. If you have this beautiful downtime and peace and quiet, why not use this as an opportunity to work on ourselves and come out of this period a stronger, more confident, more compassionate version of you and of us. It's all about self-love, self-compassion, being perfectly imperfect and accepting yourself exactly as you are. The reason I thought this book was very fitting is because at the moment, I feel like there's this expectation, and I see it on Instagram posts a lot, that this is the time to write that book or release that brand or business or get everything done and tidy the house and basically just get everything done and be super productive. And a lot of us are, some of us are living at home by ourselves, and if you are, I think that is particularly challenging, and I hope that this video helps you. But some of us have family and friends and work commitments and study commitments and our mental health and physical health, and we're trying to balance it all during what is a really uncertain time, and it can be challenging. It can take a toll, and our stress levels have gone up, our anxiety has gone up, and the isolation is starting to hit us harder. So just go easy on yourself and know that whatever you achieve, whatever you accomplish today, this week, this month, next month, you're doing the best you can. So your life is not an Instagram post, and so just go easy on yourself. Okay, if your life is absolutely chaotic and you have about 5,000 things on your to-do list and you're trying to get all of your personal tasks done, your work tasks done, your study stuff done, then please read this book. I mentioned this a couple of months ago. It's called Essentialism, and really it's making your life go from this chaotic squiggle of meh to this, which is structure and order. It helps you get clear on your priorities, and it makes you realize that not everything can get done immediately, nor does it need to, and some things really don't advance us towards the big picture goals. So this is really going to help you just get your life together and not spread yourself too thin. That's it. It's going to help you prevent burnout as well. So big fan of that, because as we know, I'm prone to burnout. I am a workaholic. Hey guys, my name's Jess. I'm a workaholic. Yeah, not proud of it. I'm working on it. I'm working on not being a workaholic, but I'm not working too hard on that because that would just fuel the cycle. Anywho, last book I wanted to recommend is called Super Attracted by Gabrielle Bernstein. So yes, she is the same author of Judgment Detox, and this book I read, was it last year when I went to Byron Bay that I mentioned this, I think, and it's all about how to elevate your mood and cultivate more positivity and gratitude in your life. I have talked about it in detail, so just briefly, given that this is a challenging time and our mood might be more susceptible to dropping down, she really helps you to focus on the positive and vibrate at a higher frequency. It's a beautiful book. It's really eye-opening, and it's very practical at the same time. It all just makes a lot of sense. So if you're feeling like your mood's a little low and you don't know how to get out of this slump, please read this book. Okay, next category is listen. So what have I been listening to and what do I recommend you listen to? Let's start with podcasts. So first off, I've written down Oprah's Super Soul Conversations. Love, it's just so eye-opening and enlightening. Jay Shetty on Purpose, I've talked about his podcast many times. Again, very much about self-development and living a healthy life. I just caught Winston having a little groom in the top right-hand corner. I hope he's not distracting you in this video. TED Talks Daily, if you're looking for something more educational, fantastic podcast covering anything and everything there. And the Kindness Podcast, I started listening to a couple of episodes of this with Adam while we were driving to and from events a couple months before ISO happened, self-isolation, and there's some just beautiful guests that they have on that. So if you're looking for a feel-good podcast that is all about self-development and faith and just feeling good and spreading positivity, go for that one. And then I did include what have I been listening to as far as music. So on Spotify, I just saw there's a working from home playlist and there's some old school songs in there from like James Bay to Gavin DeGraw to, what's his name? No, I've just blanked under the pressure of filming. John Mayer, that's the one. Yes, that's it for listening. The next one I wanted to talk about were apps. So I've written down, obviously, Calm, the meditation app, and then Zoom, because you need to stay in touch, and if you have work colleagues, I've been having a bazillion meetings via Zoom. House Party, if you want to get all your friends together virtually. And Marco Polo, my sister and I, my sister's living in London at the moment, so hey sis, if you're watching. Marco Polo is so funny. Basically, you leave each other video messages, but you get little notifications when they've sent you one, and it's just a really nice way to stay in touch. I feel like it's easier than doing a video message on WhatsApp. So Marco Polo, check that one out. And of course, I am heavily relying on Screen Time. It's not really an app, but just to monitor my overall social media usage, because there was a day where I used my phone for 7.5 hours and I wanted to vomit when I saw that number come up. Okay, last category is what to watch. So I'm going to start with the more wellness and productivity kind of content. So I've written Yoga with Adriene on YouTube. That's something that I've been watching and practicing at home. Any organizational, decor and cleaning videos, not even channels, just videos in general, the more that I watch them, the more motivated I am to tidy, organize and clean my house, even though I have redecorated the study like 5 times. I keep looking for something else to do to pass the time, but it also gives me a sense of control. When we have all this uncertainty, watching videos that motivate us to create more structure in our days and control our environment, I think it has a really beneficial and positive impact on our overall mental health. And just because people ask me, Jess, what have you been watching lately? What's your favorite shows? So I've just included some Stan and Netflix recommendations. So Friends, Gossip Girl, OC. If you're looking for something newer, on Stan, The Bold Type and Younger. Loved those shows. I particularly liked Younger because it has Hilary Duff, and when I was a little girl, I remember seeing her in a movie called Casper Meets Wendy, and I wanted to be just like her, and I wore like red overalls, and I wanted a laptop because I thought it would be so cool because she had this laptop, and basically idolized Hilary Duff. Other stuff that I've been watching more recently, I did watch Tiger King. No comment. Actually, comment is just, what? I also just watched Unorthodox, brilliant, on Netflix, and I've been meaning to watch Self-Made, that's another one. And then IG live streams. I find the IG live streams where people are interviewing other experts to be fantastic and really informative. So if you're following any accounts that are doing lives, even if it's fitness lives, anyone in health and wellness, definitely make time, pencil that into your diary. I am planning a couple of cool live streams, from live study with me to Q&As to also interviewing some awesome guests. So yeah, make sure you follow me on Instagram at @studywithjess. And there goes Winston. He knows this video is coming to an end and it's time to take him for a walk. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed this video. Comment down below your recommendations and how has your week been, and I'll see you next week with another video. You want to say bye, Winston? You want to say bye?